This sparrowhawk has just hatched. Feathers appear as it grows older, but the brightly colored feathers do not appear until the second year. During the nesting season, the parents are busy providing food. A brood usually consists of 3 or 4 young. 2 months after hatching, these young red-tails are nearly full grown, and they are learning to fly.
Hey, good morning. It's day 3. We're out here in the Sonoran Desert, just a mile or so from the U.S.-Mexico border. We're going to be riding about 40 miles, a mix of pavement, but today I wanted to share a little bit about how we set up our camp out here in the winter desert. Cooking with Len. We're making chilaquiles, los chilaquiles. Whoa. It's a very oily deal. We can take them off now. Stuck together, you want to kind of break them up. Once they start getting a little crispy, that's when you can add the sauce. Yeah, by sauteing the onions first, you get that onion flavor in the oil. So when you put it together with the eggs, yeah. It's like... Eggs are always kind of hard to cook on camp stoves. This one's actually working pretty well, but I'm doing scrambled just because it's easier. Yeah, so generally when I'm getting a 2-burner, I'm looking at, can I fit 2 9-inch pans on it? The other is just consistency of heating and like the controllability of the knob. This one actually works really well. So the main things about camping in the desert is trying to give yourself a little bit of room or insulation from the ground. Having a really nice pad underneath you, or in this case of the roof tent, this goes a long way. When you're selecting a sleeping bag, I try to go, depending on what your comfort is, anywhere from 10 to 15, sometimes 20 degrees lower than what it's going to be outside. The important thing to note about the ratings on sleeping bags is that rating's often for survival, but not comfort. So out here in the desert, we get a phenomenon known as the inversion. Temperature changes can be pretty drastic, sometimes 30 or 40 degrees. The ground will cool faster than the air, so you'll get these bubbles of cold air in low-lying areas. Last night here, I think it was probably in the mid-30s, and it was interesting because as the day started warming up, the cold air from the valley started rising, and so we had a brief transient 30 minutes where it was really, really cold. Los chilaquiles. Very good. This is like normally what happens when people go on a trip with me, they get fed well.
I'd say 5 stars for sure. I'd be eating like instant oatmeal.
It's like a party for my taste buds right now.
So we have a bit of cleaning to do from breakfast, so I'm going to get to that. So today, the riders are going to be going about 40 miles. A huge chunk of that's going to be pavement, so it's going to be pretty quick, which will allow us actually quite a bit of time this evening to set up camp, and I'll be able to share more tips and tricks about how to set up camp out here in the desert.
So we just stopped to regroup because we've got a 10-mile pavement section, but we've got a headwind. We figured that we would teach McKaylee how to paceline. Pacelining is where we all ride as a group, and we take turns riding in the front. Because the person in the front is blocking the wind and setting the pace, the 2 people in the pack get to take a break. Yeah, it's just a little easier. And then we just rotate. We'll see how it goes.
So we're like halfway through?
Oh, more than half. Like we're probably 14 miles.
Yeah, we're super close to camp.
I seem to remember it all being kind of like this for like 30 miles.
370? 3,700?
I mean,
I wouldn't trust that. I don't usually go based off of that, but like looking at this would show you a bit, I think.
I mean, I don't really care. I don't really need to know.
I know. It's like it's not important.
I don't
When it comes down to
It's
it.
like I'm doing it. So.
Hey amigos, we've just made it to camp. We're a couple miles north of the US-Mexico border yet again tonight. It was quite a long and a hard day, 40 some miles and 3,500 feet of climbing. I couldn't tell you because I was in the Broncos sport all day. I stopped in town and picked up this pretty awesome vaquero hat, so I'm going to be rocking it for the rest of the ride. But tonight we're going to be sharing a little bit of our tips and tricks for how to make your camp both functional and comfortable. And we're going to be crowdsourcing that from everyone on the crew. So how was today, man? So what's your name? Let's start there.
My name is Aaron.
Cool.
Aaron Mike.
Okay, host.
We're here.
Do your host stuff.
I'm out asking the hive mind like how we're staying comfortable. I heard it was a hard day.
On a windy day, don't camp on top of a hill.
Yeah.
Camp down low.
Today was good. It's feeling a little tired 3 days on.
I feel very sore and sleepy.
So I know you're a man of comfort. What are you doing to be comfortable here in camp? So we're like, tell me about those puffy pants.
So for 40 miles today, I was dreaming about these shoes. They are like the most fantastic, most comfortable thing. It's a trend now to get down puffy boots. They're warm and they're functional, and these ones have soles on them, which is super great.
Flip-flops. This is my pro beta right here. So I don't have to really worry about much besides like getting into comfortable shoes with out of the cycling shoes.
And they just like keep your legs warm, you know, just like you need your top warm, you need your legs warm too.
What's the overlap between this look and what you normally wear?
Just having a basic Z-rest would be great because you can use this for multiple purposes. You put this under your pad and protect from thorns and make it extra cushy. But you can also use this as a yoga mat or a chair, or just to like just lay out when you just need to stretch. So, yeah, I think this is a great thing.
Mr. Comfort himself, Aaron Mike, uses this. I've seen him in this not on bikepacking trips too, so it's like comfortable on camp and also out of the camp at home too. Seen it here first. You heard it here first. You heard it here. So we heard a lot of tips from folks here in camp. You can tell that they're prioritizing warmth and comfiness. The puffy pants, the puffy slippers, there's a lot of puffy going on. It's a vibe. But to fill in the gaps, I got a few tips to share with you all as well. So here they are. So one tip, you can get a bungee cord and some paper towels and put it through and mount it in a convenient location. for riders, having a little bit of cold soda, full sugar, on board, it really makes a difference once you start getting into those higher mileages. Another tip is lighting. Lighting can go a long way. One of the things that I like to do is testing out the lighting of a car, seeing if there's different other options that you can include. Thankfully, the Bronco Sport has some really nice lights that you can adjust and move around, and it's really great for cooking at night or when it's starting to get dark. Another thing to consider is how are you going to charge your electronics. We use a few electronics like GPS devices, phones on our rides, and we're going to need to charge them every night. We want to make sure though that power source is separate from your car vehicle battery, so having a separate power source or battery bank like a Goal Zero goes a long way to ensuring that you can have both a fun ride and also a ride that you can stay in communication as well. Another tip is to bring a source of heat. We have a Camp Chef propane fire pit that goes a long way in keeping us warm. And thankfully, we're going to fire that up tonight and stay warm. Here's your longest ride today. Kudos to that.
Oh, yeah.
Not even gnarliest ride too.
You made it look so easy.
Hanging on camp is awesome. I mean, especially when we have, the support vehicle and just so much comfort and chairs to sit on and a fireplace to sit around and kind of congregate.
Campfires they're always a little different when conversation. You always just sit down and you feel a little bit more comfortable. There's something about the equality that a circle feels like, and you share more about yourself a little more freely, I think. The warmth and the heat, it's everywhere around you is dark and kind of scary, and you're just so tuned in and kind of focused in on the fire. And I always feel a little more comfortable sharing about myself around the fire than I would any other time. And lots of laughter. We laugh all the time. That's been great. My stomach is really ached. I haven't laughed like this in a while. Got to see the stars again, which has been an overall highlight of this trip. There's nothing like desert stars.